people kept saying to me, you got to know yourself. And to know yourself means that you fully understand what you're made of and all this stuff. And I just could not fully wrap my head around the idea of knowing yourself. So I went on a journey to explore what the hell it really means to know yourself, and how do you discover you. And it's been a wild ride, and I'm going to take you through the bunch of things that I've discovered for me that worked for me to help me get to know myself a lot better. So I'm Donnie Boivin. I'm the CEO and founder of Success Champions Networking, and my life's mission is to help as many people find freedom through building a business. And everything I do and share is to teach all the things I wish somebody would have taught me on my journey of growing and then scaling a business. And I hope that you find value in all of these. So the first thing that I did to really try and understand who I am was understand that I had to be a second mile person. And what I mean by that is often we know how to do enough to get by. We know how to deliver whatever we said we're going to do with our clients, with our vendors, and the likes. And we're really good about delivering what we said we would deliver. But the real value is by going that second mile and going way above and beyond what they actually expected and wanted from you. And it's the little things that I've found that really help you understand what you're made of, because often we've grown up in a world programmed to do just enough, and we got okay with just enough. But when you got to think about how do I take that second mile for somebody else, it really takes you to a place of how do I push this forward? What could I do something more? And I found for me that I often, was in a mindset of, man, it's gonna be a lot more work, or that's gonna cost a lot more for me to do that, not thinking of long-term value. And it showed a lot of things that popped up in my own mind that I needed to work on and that I needed to work towards to get better. And it showed me sometimes where I was just showing up as a dick in this world, not meaning to be, but I really was trying to do the right things, but my limiting beliefs of that second mile, what that may look like for somebody else, really showed me where I wasn't showing up in life. And it was a really fascinating thing for me to continue to explore. The second thing is you gotta believe in yourself. And this one's fascinating for me because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to. And I think oftentimes people want the accolades or they want the recognition for others, because if somebody else sees them, if somebody else recognizes them, then it validates who they are as a person. And I think for a lot of my journey, I lived through the validation of others. If somebody said I was doing a good job, it meant I was a good person. If somebody said, man, you're awesome at this, it meant that I was somebody. My validation was outward and not inward. I wasn't looking at myself and actually liking the dude that I am, and it was costing me a lot of bandwidth mentally, and it was costing me a lot of work to show up for myself and not let the reflection of others reflect back on me. I mean, it was like I was walking around the world with a whiteboard on my chest, and I was handing other people the markers and saying, please write my worth on here. And it all came down to because I just didn't believe in myself enough, even though I never really had the thought process of I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, blah, blah, blah. I always fake believed that I was believing in myself. At the end of the day, it took me a while to realize that I didn't always think I was smart enough. And there were situations where I didn't think I could handle it or do it. And I just had to start believing in me, because once I started to really sink in that I'm a good dude, that I have a reason to be here, I have a reason to show up, I'm bringing value, things started really shifting, and it really was shining a light on the areas that I didn't know was holding me back. The third thing I did was the mirror challenge for me, and this happened when my business was completely on the rocks. I almost lost my entire farm, and it was a really scary moment in time. The thing I did is that night, after I told my wife we were about to lose everything and she was going to cash in her 401k to save the farm and get her Jeep back from repossession, is I went up to the mirror and I looked myself in the mirror and I tried to say the words, "I'm proud of you." And instantly, this little kind of voice popped up in the back of my head and said, "No, you're not. You're not holding up your end of the bargain as being a business owner, as being a husband, as doing the things you need to do to proactively build this business." I knew instantly, though, that that was my voice telling me the things that I needed to go fix or the things I needed to go work on. And the fascinating thing happened is each evening I'd go back to the mirror and I would say the words, "I'm proud of you." And every time I did that, something would pop up. And that something, whatever it was the thing I had to go fix or the thing I had to go work on. And interestingly enough, as I got better at fixing the things that I was not doing, fixing the activities that I was not proud of, I started really getting to a level of belief that, man, this is working and things are starting to turn. And it was fascinating because, I mean, you can lie to yourself, but why would you want to? And by going to the mirror, you're getting a hard look eye to eye with who you really are at your core. And this is not about beating yourself up, it's recognizing the voices that creep in and are kicking your ass as far as moving forward. And as I continue to get better, the things I wasn't proud of, the actions of the things I wasn't doing, were changing and evolving. And eventually I turned the companies back around and we were doing really, really well. And that night I went to the mirror and said, "I'm proud of you." And the first thing that popped up said, "No, you're not, because you're not being a great husband." And it wasn't because I was, cheating on her or anything. I just was putting more time and energy and effort into my business versus spending any time with her. So my solution was to bring her more into the business and start really integrating my life and home life, business life, everything as one life and not multiple lives. So going to the mirror, look yourself dead in the eye and saying, "I'm proud of you," is a hell of a tool to get you to really start looking inward and discover who you really are. The next thing that I had to do is I had to start getting into bigger conversations. And this one's fascinating for me. The idea here is you got to get into conversations with people that intimidate you, the people that maybe you don't feel like you belong in that room or that conversation with them. And what this did for me, man, is it made all my insecurities freaking blast to the freaking surface, because I was, for some reason, putting particular types of individuals on pedestals. People who I thought maybe had more success than I had, people that had accomplished more than I had. And I had this weird way of being when I got around these type of people where I just didn't feel like I fit in the room. And I had to get into these rooms more and more and more times, because I'll tell you, the more often I got into the rooms, the more I realized that there was a lot of these people that I had more drive than. I had more energy, passion towards. Often they'd just been playing the game longer than I have. And so that was a really cool moment to understand that I'm not playing for this moment. I'm playing for 10 years down the road. And if I can play for 10 years down the road, then wherever this person is on their journey, then it's irrelevant to where I'm going. Let's learn from them. Let's gain the knowledge from them. And I found that the more I could put myself in situations where I was forced to be in uncomfortable situations, it really allowed me to level up, because it's almost like I had this shining light on the things I didn't see in myself. And it was a massive shift and change for me. And now I try and do it every chance that I can find or get. The next thing you got to do is you got to take these calculated risks. And what I've found is some of my biggest growth has come after taking a crazy risk. And I know I said calculated, then said crazy, but here's the truth. You're not going to get where you want to go in life without taking some sort of risks. And oftentimes it's the crazy ones that pay off the most, but they also come with the biggest risk, hence the name risk. And I've found just the more often I can put myself into situations where I had no choice but to level up and figure out how to move forward, I really found either that second gear for me, or I found the wall that I was bumping up against that I didn't know was there. So look over your business, look over your life and go, okay, where can I start taking risks that make sense, that are gonna push me a lot further than where I currently am? The next thing that I really think you have to do is you have to be different by being yourself. Stop trying to fit in. You want people to gravitate towards you, and the only way to get people to gravitate towards you is by showing up as yourself. And for me, I never thought anybody was wanted to do business with a ball cap wearing country dude that cussed too much, because I just didn't think people wanted to see that real version of me. And I can promise you, these last 5.5 years of showing up consistently, putting out a message, being on podcasts, being on stages, and the like, the more I've showed up as myself, t-shirts, ball caps, talking like I talk, the more my people continue to show up. And what I mean my people is the people that want to hear messages from a guy like me. I mean, I've been in rooms where I've said the word badass, or I've cussed and used all sorts of profanity, and people have come up to me afterwards and told me I've diminished my message for cussing too much. And here's the thing, I always respond with, thank you for the feedback. And thank you for proving that you're not my target audience who I'm trying to speak to, because my audience isn't going to judge me for how I show up. And that's always been a cool thing for me to, and the more I do this, the more I hear the message from people that come up to me, or they'll send me a DM and they're like, Donnie, thanks for showing up the way you do, because it gives me permission to show up as I do. So truthfully, they shouldn't need my permission, but I still love that feedback every time I get it. The next thing that I think you need to do is you need to speak confidently. I think people are so in their head, I know I've been there several times, that when they speak, they don't believe in the words that they're saying, or they don't have confidence in delivering what they're saying. And by not speaking with a level of confidence, you get all up in your head and you start believing the negative thoughts you're telling yourself. It's like I'm saying, I'm not good enough, I don't belong in this room. If you don't speak confidently, you're just affirming that you aren't confident enough. You shouldn't belong in that room. And so what I found is, for me, I had to slow down how I speak in most rooms I'm in, because I'm kind of a loud dude. I like, being center of attention when I can control it. And the ability to articulate a sentence and deliver it with authority, deliver it with a level of confidence. And this isn't about, this fake it till you make it crap. This is about having the courage to know that you do belong wherever you are. You have the courage to deliver your original thought in a given situation. And it's the ability to slide into particular conversations and contribute, teach, or ask the right confident questions so you can get clarity and understanding of what you're trying to do in that given moment. So think about, how do you speak more confidently? How do you speak more directly without being an ass? How do you speak just more proficiently confident in the words coming out of your mouth? The next thing I think you need to do is you need to stand in your own personal beliefs. This one's huge. I think most people don't know what they actually believe. I can promise you that for a lot of my years, I did not have a lot of my own personal beliefs. I had beliefs that I heard and were told by others that I took ownership of. Meaning I would regurgitate what somebody else had said. I took as a belief to be true, and that became my known truth, versus really asking myself, do I actually believe that? Is that something that makes sense in my world to believe? And what I've found is the more I've explored my own personal beliefs, the more I've been able to do everything before this that we've talked about. I've been able to believe in myself more. I've been able to be proud of myself more. I've been able to have bigger conversations and calculated risks. I've been able to be myself, and I've been able to speak really confidently because it's my own beliefs. It's my own thoughts. When you regurgitate or you put out language or verbiage or thought that is not your own, you won't be able to articulate in a manner where others are going to lean into it. And it's not about convincing other people, it's about understanding what you truly believe in, being able to defend those beliefs if it makes sense, and being able to articulate your beliefs in a manner that helps the world move forward because of the conviction of your own beliefs. So I'll challenge you to go figure out what you actually believe in. And every time you think you have a belief, ask yourself, is this my true belief? Or am I regurgitating what some other people told me? And the most fascinating and the final thing I can tell you is the strongest thing that will make you understand yourself like no other is to go teach what you know to others. See, life is not about the things you do. It's about the things that you can learn, teach, and tell stories about later. Because when you teach something to someone else, you finally understand it. And what I found is you combine that with your own personal beliefs, your own personal knowledge, and you're going to be blown away by the people that lean into your thoughts and methodologies. For years, I taught things from perspectives of what I read in books, not personal experiences. So I was teaching theories, not actual things that would propel and move me forward. So I had to learn, how do I actually do a thing so I can teach it to others? And so now it's become a common practice for me. If there's something that I don't know how to do well, I will go learn how to do it, and then I will teach that learning to others to solidify that I actually know what it is. And I've done this with everything from business finance to personal finance to sales to marketing to prospecting, you name it. I've done a lot of these things because I don't want to teach what I've learned from somebody else. I want to teach from personal knowledge and experience so I can give people the real tactical things that are going to work in their business and their lives so they can actually proactively move forward and do the right things. So what I want you guys to understand is, if you're really going to try and know yourself, if you're really going to try and figure out who you are so you can go after that business freedom that you're trying to get to, then you need to explore these. And you need to spend some time here really getting dialed into who you are so you can go big as hell. And if you made it this far with me, guys, do me a favor. Please subscribe and comment below. Ring that bell so you can get notified when a new video comes out. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love the DMs I get. Would love more comments down below of anything that I can help you with. But go know yourself. Go learn about yourself. And if I can ever be of help, let me know.